Hello and welcome back to a long overdue video. I did not realize until this weekend was coming up that it has been a month since I recorded a video, and it's funny how life can kind of get in the way. Some of you know I do still work some outside the home, so I don't have just every day of the week to try to plan these and get these all put together. Please forgive me. I will do my very best to make sure that I never go 30 days without making a video. For today's card, I wanted to focus on a stamp set that is still obtainable through the mini catalog. Now, this mini catalog is going to end the end of June. And so anything in here that did not carry over to the new annual catalog will be forever gone. And so the stamp set that we are going to look at today is on page 31. It is called, the stamp set itself is called Pretty Perennials. Beautiful stamp set. Love this stamp set. And unfortunately, since making the one card with it, I have not had time to come back and play with this. I haven't even been able to touch the dies. You can get the bundle at 10% off that will include your stamp set and your dies. It is worth every penny. This set is so flexible. It's beautiful. The creativity that is available with this is just unlimited. And of course, they have got samples on their page of cards that their designers made using the stamp set. And to be very honest, this card right here was actually my inspiration for the color palette of the card I did, and we are going to try to recreate that today. And I'm hoping that I can get back here and we can do one that will incorporate some of the die cuts. Now, in order to try to keep my videos from being really long, I have opted to prep my card base and layers and everything off screen. If you guys would really like to see me using the Stampin' Up! Cut and Emboss machine, if you would like to see me using the Stampin' Up! Trimmer and score on screen, let me know in the comments below. And please, if there is anything that you can enjoy about this video, if you learned anything, if you just enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. That will really help my rankings on YouTube. It'll also give my self-confidence a huge boost. I'm still new to this, so I'm still learning. Got a long ways to go before I feel like I'm really competent at this. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And I want to show you the card that I had made. And again, this one in the catalog was kind of my inspiration. I'm not real sure. I don't think they used just jade here like I did. That almost looks like Coastal Cabana to me. But I opted to use just jade on my card. It's very simple. And for those of us who are on a budget, you know, sometimes maybe all we can afford to do is just get the stamp set. And if that's all you can manage to get is the stamp set, it's beautiful, beautiful. I love how it almost gives a watercolor effect to all the stamps. I love the huge, cursive, beautiful, happy. It just makes you look happy when you see that word. The way they have put that together is very beautiful. Okay, so what I have done is I have cut a regular card base. It is 5.5 by 11, scored and folded at 4 1/4. So there's my card base. We're going to put that to the side for right now. I have cut 2 layers of Magenta Madness. These are just a little bit bigger than your typical layer. By now, y'all should be knowing that I tend to favor the skinny border on cards. So if you will look at this one that I had pre-made, I really have only got about 1/8 of an inch here before my Magenta Madness layer. And again, about 1/8 of an inch here for my top layer. So the Magenta Madness was cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, and I've also cut one for the inside of the card. We're going to lay those aside for right now. And then my 2 white layers for the top are cut at the traditional 4 by 5 1/4 inch. So one of these will be for the inside of the card. We're going to lay that aside. And this is the one that we are going to work on and do our stamping on. Now, the colors that I picked are Daffodil Delight, Magenta Madness, Just Jade, Mango Melody, and Merry Merlot are just for the inside parts of the flowers. So these are more like accent colors and main colors. So the main colors, Daffodil Delight, Magenta Madness, Just Jade. Okay, one other thing that I did, I don't know where that came from, is that I did stamp off. These are awesome colors, but they were a little bit more intense than the look I was going after when I originally did this card. So I did what is called second generation stamping. And by that, I simply mean we're going to start with the large flower here. And I like to work in 3s or 5s. I like to work in odd numbers. That to me is more pleasing to the eye. So now I've got this large one saturated with Daffodil Delight. I'm simply going to stamp it off one time, and then I'm going to stamp it onto my card base. I'm going to repeat this a couple of more times. And I'm not trying to just perfectly imitate the other card that I made, but it's going to be kind of close. I'm going to stamp off one more time. I'm going to put part of that there. Now we have 3, and I intentionally started with my largest stamp. That, for me anyway, works out better. You might have better luck with starting with the small stamp and working outwards. But generally speaking, it is much easier to start with your large stamp and go in. I keep my chamois in a Ziploc bag. And the reason I keep my chamois in a Ziploc bag is because, again, I do work some outside the home. And I find that if I keep this in a Stampin' Up case, which I would love to be able to do, but if I do, it dries out before I can get back to it, which it's not the end of the world. Simply run it under water and it will rehydrate. But I keep it that way there. If it's a couple of days before I get back into my stamp room, I know that it's still moist and ready to go. At this point, I'm going to take... Let's do that out of the way. I'm going to take the Magenta Madness. I'm going to stamp the word happy. Make sure that gets good and inked up. Make sure that's good and vibrant. I did not stamp off for the word happy. I wanted that to be prominently displayed. That looks pretty good right there. Give that kind of a good press. There we go. There's my happy. And I don't care that it overlaps a little bit with a flower. No 2 cards that you do like this where you're making your own background or you're making your own DSP, Designer Series paper. It doesn't matter. Each one is going to be a little unique. You're not going to make any 2 cards exactly the same. All right, I'm going to give this a little scrub with my chamois. Sorry if there was camera shake. I'm one of those people, it drives me crazy for demonstrators to, oops, I put that away too soon. For demonstrators to be stamping on screen and they move the opened ink pad away or the unclean stamp away. That just, it drives me crazy. Okay, here we go. We're going to make the Magenta Madness flowers. I'm going to stamp off once. And come in. Maybe just a little bit coming in here. And of course, rotating your stamps too can always give you just a little bit different look. And we're going to come up right about there for that one. All right, good deal. Photopolymer stamps do stain, as you can tell. Mine are well loved, just in a couple of cards that I am making with this stamp set. It does not hurt your stamps as long as you are careful to clean them each and every time. You can still actually see through it, and you'll be able to, if you're doing like two-step stamping or anything, you're still good to go. Not a problem there. Okay, Magenta Madness out. Let's bring in Just Jade. I love this flower. It's so... What's the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of it. Whimsical, I think, is a word maybe I'm looking for. And it's small. I have a little bit of area to kind of fill in. This particular design, I was not worried about having it all the way filled in. Sometimes when I've made my own DSP, I have tried to fill it in even more, and I could even on this design, but I really like that open, airy feeling that I was getting with this design. Okay, so we've got the main parts of this. Let me clean this last stamp here. There we go. Now it's time to fill in the middle. Here's Mango Melody, which I am going to use as the middle for the Daffodil Delight. And this time I'm not stamping it off. I'm going full strength. And full strength. And always do your best not to rock your stamp. There we go. And always do your best just to make sure you're just putting this and maybe not the ink block. See, that was a recipe for disaster right there. Had I rocked this, I would have made a mess on my card. As you can see, I've already made a mess over here on my scratch paper. Okay, we'll clean this off. We're almost there. We're almost there. Now, on the inside of this card, I didn't do any decorating. I feel like this sentiment, sending lots of happy mail, can lend itself very well to a birthday card, a get well card, a congratulations card, a thank you card. So a lot of times when I'm making cards, I may not put any kind of a sentiment on the inside. All I did do on the inside was stamp in my main colors again, just this small flower. And I left room for stamping a sentiment of my choice when I get ready to send it. I actually happen to have someone in mind for this card that we are making today, a very special someone in mind for this card. All right, this is Mary Merlot going in the middle of the Magenta Madness, and I used the wrong stamp. I meant to use this one. But you know what? We're going to go with it. Like I said, no two cards will ever be the same. Ever. But look at the fun that you can have with just a stamp set. It's awesome. It's amazing. Okay, let's get this card layered together. And once we get it layered together, I want to show you, well, let me go ahead and do it now. This is the actual Pretty Perennials, and they're photopolymer on this cling sheet that you can store them on. Of course, some of them are missing because I have them on blocks. And then here's the dies. Look at all those dies, y'all. Aren't they awesome? You've got leaves and centers of flowers and all the different flowers to cut out the outside and to cut out. You could even layer your bigger flowers and put more dimension to them. And we're going to explore that in another video using these dies. However, you have only got until June the 30th to get this set if you would like to have it. I plan on keeping this in my collection for a very long time to come. Now, one other thing that I did, on my original card, I used a punch that we no longer carry. And I knew I needed to come up with a different way of doing the sentiment on here than that. So what I did, again, this one, it's in the mini catalog. It is on page 13. Let's go to 13. It is called Forever and Always. This one also did not carry over to the new catalog. If you want this stamp set and these dies, again, you have until June the 30th. But do you see the picture here? These actually will cut out sentiments. This is a beautiful set, guys. It's beautiful. So here were the two dies that I used for cutting out the words mail. And I shortened mine. Instead of stamping the whole sending lots of Happy Mail, on today's card, we're just going to do sending mail. That's it. That's all we're going to do. And in order to get this size, I ran it through my die cut machine, cut it the first time, and then I moved it so that I could cut it and try to have the same amount of space on both ends. That's something else that you can do with your dies. You can actually kind of enlarge or reduce to get more mileage out of them. But I love this set. Again, I've only made one card with it. I gave that card away. I do not even have a card right now with this. And again, I will try to get a video done with this set. Now, there is some coordinating DSP that is also in the catalog. You can see a hint of it here. All of the designs were in black and white, but I have seen some beautiful things done where people went in and colored with their stamping blends and did different things to the background, and then die cut it and added it to their cards. Again, this is another stamp set that is going to be so versatile. You could use this for any family member. You could use this for a good friend. You can use it for your spouse. There are a multitude of ways that you could use this, and I actually do plan on using this stamp set. Our music minister and his fiance will be getting married in early July, and I think I would really, really like to do them a card using this set. So stay tuned. I'm still trying to plan and figure out and put everything together. Okay, so now we have our card base. I've got this part done, and we need to glue Magenta Madness base to the card base. Oh, I see I should have probably cleaned my glue bottle. I got a dried glue booger. All right, let's get this. I'm worried about that. I don't want that squeezing out on the ends. This glue is, you don't need a whole lot. Just don't have to have a whole lot. So again, I'm leaving just a very narrow border all the way around. Hopefully I got that on there straight. Because when you're layering, if you don't get that first layer down straight, from then on it's just going to look even wonkier. And come on, let's get started here. I've drank a lot of coffee and a lot of water this morning. And I think I probably should have erred on the side of water than coffee, because I'm just a little bit too caffeinated. Okay, let's get this laid on here. Now, when you're making cards, you don't have to do all kinds of layers. You don't. I could have used a Magenta Madness base and then just one white layer on top. Sometimes it's just kind of nice to go that extra mile and do an extra special card. And since the person I have in mind for this is extra special, I wanted to do the inside and the outside extra special. Make sure I'm in camera here. I'm really bad about paying attention to that, and I've got to do better. Hopefully one day it'll become an ingrained habit and I won't have to stop and think about every little thing I'm doing. All right, before I lay that in there, we want to go back similar to what I did before, and let's just kind of decorate this. Doesn't matter where you want to put them. You don't have to finish it off like I did mine, but I thought the 3 colors together really lent themselves well, carrying the theme from the outside of the card to the inside of the card. Let's get this cleaned up. And I'm going to have to figure out how to stabilize my camera a little bit better. I actually just use my camera phone for this. It takes money, y'all, to get all this fancy equipment so that you can do videos. And I's poor. I's a poor person. I'm really not poor. God has blessed me so tremendously. You know, I told God, actually the way I got started on this, whoops, no, I want just Jade. Actually, the way I got started on this was 2 wonderful women at church found out that I was kind of interested in learning how to make cards. And I had previously been told when I first started going there that, I'm just going to finish stamping that off. Let's do that again. That I was interested in learning how to make cards. And so one day one of them approached me. Her name is Brenda. She and I have become very good friends since then. And I love it. I love it. She and another lady, Jama, took me under their wing, taught me, bought me a lot of my beginning supplies. And I got involved with the card ministry that we do at First Christian. And the rest is history. After I'd been doing it for a couple of years, I signed up to be a demonstrator. And the only reason I signed up to be a demonstrator is because I wanted to get a discount on my products. I wasn't looking to try to make a business out of it or anything. But honestly, over time, I came to realize that as much as I love it, and actually, you know, for years I was kind of interested in trying to learn how to make my own cards. The cost of greeting cards is, oh, it's horrendous. I mean, just to get a basic card, you're going to spend anywhere from $5 to $7, and I've seen them higher. I picked up a card here a while back out of the stationery department at a big box store. And I was horrified to see, you know, it was all fancy and it played music and all this kind of stuff. It was $20. And it's like, for $20, I can make a whole lot of cards. So, I'm forever grateful to Brenda and Jama for investing in me and teaching me. And we're all delighted with the fact that we are still learning. You never stop learning. Never, never. Okay, so here is the middle of the card. Let me kind of get this out of the way, even though... All right, so there's where you can find me if you would like to place an order for anything that you've seen today. And I actually wrote down the Pretty Perennials bundle. If you get the stamps and the dies together, it's a bundle. It's 10% off buying them separately. That number is 156234. If you just want the stamp set, it's called Pretty Perennials, 154435. If you just want the dies, I don't know why you would want just the dies, but if you want just the dies, 154231. And going back to that forever and always, the bundle number is 156200. The colors I used today was the, I actually use Whisper White, y'all, because I still have Whisper White. The manufacturer of Whisper White went out of business because of COVID. I know. Only one of many stories over this whole horrific affair with COVID. But yeah, they went out of business, so we had to find another supplier, and so now what we offer in our catalog is basic white. But you know what? I'm all about using what you have. Don't waste it. And so if I'm using Whisper White, I will tell you I'm using Whisper White, even though now in the new catalog you can order basic white. Still good quality cardstock. It still has that nice thickness. It's still smooth. It takes the ink really well. Very much worth investing in, and they have it in a thick version if you want to use it for a card base. because I was putting 2 layers on top and 2 layers on the inside, I just used the regular thickness of the Whisper White, and you could do the same thing with the basic white. Magenta Madness was cut at 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, 2 pieces of that. My white layer was 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches times 2. And again, Daffodil Delight, Magenta Madness, Mango Melody, Just Jade, and Mary Merlot. We'll bring these back and show them to you one more time. Beautiful palette. Your creativity knows no bounds. It really does not. Okay, let's get the sending mail put on here. Yep. I definitely need my little take your pick tool. Love this tool. Love it. We offer it very inexpensively in the catalog. There are several attachments that go with it, and one of them attaches to this end. It's got that putty. It just picks it up. Any embellishments, anything you have where we have a hard time with our fingers trying to get a hold of it. And right here, I have got mini dimensionals. You've seen me use the regular size dimensionals. These are the minis. Self-adhesive foam mounts. They are sticky on both sides. You get 720 of them for like $4. And the number to order those is 144108. But to me, that it's like, man, what a deal. They're pre-cut. They're pre-sticky. That's awesome. I am going to take that off. I want 2 on here. We're going to put 2 on there. As you can tell, I was playing before I started the video. So I have these beautifully ink-stained hands, which, when I do dishes this evening, will be a thing in the past. All right, let me get that on there. Told y'all I was a little bit too caffeinated. I let time get away from me. Truly I did. Okay. Sending lots of happy mail. Where you put them, if you want to put it further down, I tend to try to kind of stay around the main theme so that there is a little bit of unity and it doesn't look like it's all falling apart. Let's get the mini dimensionals put on this one. All right, move. There's one. This piece here is a little bit longer, but I still think I'm only going to use, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to use 2. I think many times people in trying to be conservative and frugal, and yes, I'm all about being conservative and frugal, but I think a lot of times they don't use enough of these. All right, there we go. Now I'm happy with where they're at and that you can't see them from this side. And maybe right about there. Let me pick that up. That's a little crooked. There we go. Awesome. All right. Okay, guys. There's our card today. Done nothing more with a little bit of ink and a stamp set. And it's bright, it's joyful, and it can be a blessing to someone else in your life. So until I am back here again, you guys have a great, great weekend, and I will be talking to you later. Bye.